Discussing Donda, a Christian review. Yeah, what's going on, party people? The place to be. I go by the name of the BK Apologist, transmitting all the way live. New York is the city, Brooklyn is the borough. What's good? What's popping? Friday, we made it. A lot of people did not, but we can say that we did, and we need to praise God for that. Let's say what's up to the party people in the chat. We got Adrian Jones on the check-in. We got Mr. Green. We got Harvey in the building. We got, of course, the uncomparable, the indelible Nate2D2's in the house. We got Saj in the house. Welcome. I think it's the first time I've seen you. Definitely, you're more than welcome to be here. And as always, party people in the place to be. Please, if you have not, like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Please share this link right now. Tell a friend to tell a friend. That's him again. Those who would like to support this online ministry, you can hit me on PayPal. And if you'd like to be a monthly supporter, you can become a patron where you get an assortment of study aids for your personal Bible study. So, of course, we are here. We're doing a bodega special because usually we talk about various topics, that occurred during the week. But today we decided to focus on one particular topic, and that is, of course, the new album by Kanye West known as Donda. And, I got a good friend of mine here who is not only a apologist, but also a MC. And he's been out here not only preaching the word, but spitting them bars. Of course, I'm talking about Ninja for Jesus. What's good?
What's good, fam? We in the place to be.
Yes, sir. Yes. Sir. And as always, for those who are uninitiated, if you could just talk about, a little bit about yourself and where people can find you, sir.
Yeah. Minister, artist, ninja for Jesus. I also go by Numa Pierre's Pneuma. That's where they can find me on all social medias. Ninja, number 4, Jesus. I'm out of St. Paul, Minnesota, big Twin City energy right now. And as you said it, like the Lord has just graced me with the call and the purpose to just spread his word. We do it through apologetics. We do it through the preached word. I'm also a minister slash pastor. And then also we do it through hip hop. We rap and we get down with the bars. So
nice.
This is an exciting moment for me to be able to join my big bro and just talk about this album that just dropped by Mr. West himself.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And where people can find you, sir, if they want to, get in touch with you or hear some of your music.
Yeah. So if you want to hear my music, I'm on Spotify, SoundCloud, Tidal, all your streaming platforms. Numa Pierre's Pneumapierre. But if you just put Ninja number 4 Jesus, all of my social media links come up, and then one link leads you to the next, and you'll find my music right away. So I'm on SoundCloud and the streaming platforms. Ninja for Jesus is the easiest way to get there.
Cool. I meant to ask you, Pierre. So your last name, Pierre. So are you French, Haitian, Creole?
So I kind of did the Malcolm X. So my last name is actually Fulford. It means Dirty Ford. So Numa Pierre was a moniker I took on. I took on the moniker Numa Pierre as a reminder to myself to put the spirit first in what I do, because Numa is
right.
Greek for spirit, also means breathe. So yeah, but my mom, true story, was like when I was born, she said, I didn't look like I was from this country, and she always loved the name Pierre. She's like, I got a little Hawaiian Haitian baby in my arms. God, where he come from? And so my dad was going to junior me. My mom said, no, he's not the junior. This is Pierre. And praise God, because the second oldest looks just like Pops. So
wow.
My mom, she knew in her heart of hearts what was up.
That was interesting. All right, cool. That was interesting. So Hawaiian and Haitian, is that what you're saying?
She said that's what she said. She said you look Hawaiian, Haitian.
You look Hawaiian. Oh, okay.
Yeah. That's what she said.
All right.
I got Irish, Native, and African. Tutsi. So Tutsi, Irish, and Native is
Nice.
what is flowing through my veins. So yeah.
Nice. Do you know what particular tribe or just in general?
No, that's on my dad's side, and no, I'm not as knowledgeable on who from my dad's side is actually native. It's like a lot of generations removed.
Yeah, we gotta connect you to Phil Fox. See what's good. You know
See
what I
what's
mean?
good. Yeah, real
Maybe
good.
maybe he can figure it out for you.
Hey, that'd be
Uh,
a blessing.
Big up to Phil Fox, by the way. So, and as always, we gotta talk about this gosh darn coronavirus before we get underway. So, what's going on in the Twin Cities when it comes to that COVID, sir?
Folks is masking up again. Still, the stores and the events are still happening, but know quite a few people already personally who've been fully vaccinated, and that Delta variant hit them still.
Mm,
So, especially with the school system, still somewhat connected to the school systems. Um, they're giving it a shot, but no one really knows what to make of it. I think we're in
right.
code yellow right now, which
Mm,
is like 1 or 2 away from like red alert. So yeah, transmission rate is going back up, and so we just gotta keep an eye on it and just be safe out there. Sanitize, wear your mask. Uh, when asked, stores are still asking us, events are still asking us.
right.
So it's cool. It's bearable. I know there's some states that are a lot more extreme than us, and some states that are a lot more lenient than us when it comes to how they handle COVID
Right.
variants. So it's manageable to say the least.
Right. Right. But over here in the Big Apple, um, 80% of New Yorkers who are 18 and over have at least one dose of the vaccine.
Oh wow.
But with that though, the positive rate has went up to 3%, 3.33%. So it's still ticking up, even though we're getting more vaccinations. So
Oh wow.
it's like you said, I'm sure there's a lot of breakthrough cases. But the good thing I'm assuming is those who are getting infected, who had the vax, are not having the same type of symptoms they would have had if they
Right.
weren't vaxxed up, right?
Right.
So over here we are not anti or pro vax. We are, it's not a sin issue.
Right.
You pray, you discuss it with yourself and your family. You do the research, and it's a personal decision. So you make we love you whether you take it or not. So
Right.
we'll put it out there. All right. So with that being said, let's get into what we were all here for, and that is discussing Donda.
Right.
So just to do a quick, here are the first week projections for Kanye West's new album, right? So, before we get into the projections, let's talk about what we are talking about. It says Donda is the 10th studio album by American rapper and producer Kanye West. It was released on August 29th, 2021 by Good Music and Def Jam Recordings. The album is named after West's late mother, Donda West. The
Mhm.
album was initially set for release in July 24th, 2020, but was delayed multiple times. In July 2021, West set up a provisional recording studio at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta, where listening events were held on July 22nd and August 5th. After a third listening event at Soldier Field in Chicago on August 27th, Donda was released on August 29th. So, according to Hits Daily Double, Kanye West Donda has a new projected number just after 2 days of streaming. The website reports Donda will do 350,000, with 50,000 of that in digital album sales.
Mm.
And let me mute my phone. Hold up. Hold up. Hold up. Okie dokie. All right. And then what else here? Donda currently has a hold on the entire top 10 on Spotify and top 20 on Apple Music as of Monday morning, and has also landed at number one in 130 countries on Apple Music, which TMZ reports is the most number one entries in history. Actually, it went up to 150 countries.
Eesh.
He's number one 100. Now to put it in perspective, there are 190 countries on the planet right now.
Right.
He's number one in 150 of them. If you was wondering why we are discussing this man's project, that's why. Because the world literally is listening to this guy.
Right now, as we
You know what I
speak.
mean? Let me see here. While inviting thousands of people to support a sports stadium to listen to a record they can't even stream yet or buy may seem unorthodox. It's already been a lucrative strategy for West. Besides the ticket and merchandise revenue from the Chicago event, top price was $425 a ticket. This is for a listening party, mind you. The album wasn't even out yet. You're paying $425 to hear it from these huge speakers in a stadium.
Wow.
The two others in Atlanta. West entered a deal with Apple Music to stream the listening parties. The second Atlanta event broke Apple Music's live stream records with 5.4 million views. By the way, Drake just beat that record today.
I believe it.
Yeah. Before he even arrived in Chicago, he already earned $7 million in merchandise sales. T-shirts featured pictures of the childhood house and the baby picture of his mother. The album didn't drop yet, and he's already made $7 million from an album that's not dropped. Okay? So, it's the biggest launch of 2021. It was the 2021 single day streaming record. Drake beat that today. Spotify, I think he still holds that. I think Drake broke Apple Music single day streaming record. He is all-time music record of number one albums in 152 countries. Over 180 million streams worldwide in 24 hours. He was mentioned on CNN. His album release was mentioned on CNN. This is a news channel.
Right.
He was part of the 24-hour news cycle, his album release. It's just an album. But CNN decided, we need to take time to acknowledge that this man dropped the album. They consider this newsworthy, right? They consider this newsworthy. So let me stop here for a minute. So to say that this was a big deal is pretty much an understatement.
Big understatement.
Right?
Huge understatement.
And big up, this is Darrell. Say what's up to the people, sir.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Peace and blessings. Y'all know what it is.
So what's the when we're talking impact, how much impact does this particular project had on the culture?
Well, right now everybody's listening to it. And that's impact already. The fact that you can get the attention of the world practically, and how he garnered that attention with those very huge, extreme, and like out of this world listening parties. The myth of Kanye is just, we'll look back and he'll be one of those artists that just has these myths attached to his name. Like, you had to be like, were you there in history when he dropped Donda? Were you there? Like, that's the trajectory he's taking. Whenever he stops doing music, like, his just that catalog, when it's completed, he's gonna be up there with Michael Jackson. He's gonna be up there with whoever we respect as world musicians. He's there.
Now, personally, the whole genius moniker they put on him, I don't really subscribe to that. But this album rollout is genius.
Yeah,
because no one has ever done what he did here, and honestly, it only works if you're at his caliber.
Right.
The man made people pay almost $500 to sit in the stadium to hear an album that's not even mixed properly yet. You know what I mean? It's like the album wasn't finished yet. He was still tweaking it. He's playing rough drafts through stadium speakers. And people are paying $500 to sit and listen to that. They did it 3 times.
Three times.
They did it 3 times.
He put a whole house in it. He remade his house.
Well, at least with that was more of a theatric. I'm saying the first 2, the first one, he's just standing there.
He's just standing there, right?
Pressing his MP3 player or whatever. Like, hey, track 6, what do you guys think? You know what I mean? Like, that's it.
That's it, man.
That's it.
Like you said, only he probably could pull that off like that.
But this changes the whole, like, because usually, you drop your single, right? You drop the video for the single, You make your rounds to the different radio stations. You hit the West Coast, you hit the East Coast, you hit all the major outlets. He said, nope, I'm going to rent out the stadium and you're going to pay me $500 to sit down for like an hour and a half to hear an album in its roughest form. It's not even done yet. It's not mixed or mastered yet. And then I'm going to come back and I'm going to make you do it again. And then I'm going to go back home to the shop and do it again. That's crazy. Darrell, what do you think, man?
I do think that he is a genius, but I do think that in his genius, I think that like all geniuses, he has problems. And I think that man, I just wish he had more like people that were really his friends, man. And maybe he does have real friends, but it's just like when you see somebody and they have so much, but yet they have nothing at all. Right. You know what I mean? Right. And it's sad to see because you know who he is and what he can really do. I don't even think he's even tapped into what he can really do. You know what I'm saying? But I think that the people that he have around him, you know, are not really the most healthy for him. Right. You know what I mean? That's including Hove and everybody else. I think everybody around him is just, you know, they are feeding off of his genius and off of his artistic talent.
Right.
But I doubt that. I don't think he can even count his, you know, the amount of real friends that he has around him on his hand. You know, I think he may have some guys who, you know, who are like his followers, or maybe guys who can profit off of him. But yeah, he don't really have that many people that's in his corner. You could tell it just by the moves he makes. Like you're sleeping in a stadium, like you're coming out and you got you know the pantyhose on your face, and it's just you wearing winter clothes in the summertime. You got a big old puffy jacket on, and it's like 90 degrees outside. It's a lot of things that he's doing that you got to scratch your head and you got to say, yeah, something just ain't right with him. You know what I mean? Something just not right.
I don't know if I believe the story that he actually lived in the stadium. Supposedly he paid like $1 million a day to live there. I'm like, I don't believe that.
It could be capped. It could be.
I think it's capped.
But you know, there's clearly something. You know, there's clearly something that's wrong with Kanye. It's just clear, and the people around him are not helping him. You know what I'm saying? They're not there to really to try to make things better. I just think they're all leeching off of this man and taking advantage of who he really is. You know.
I mean, there could be people trying to tell him the real, but he might not be listening to the music. So
yeah, it might be a little bit of both. I think that too. Talib actually said that. He was like, man, like I really care about Kanye, and I really believe what Talib was saying. Like, I really care about Kanye. I really do love him, you know, but he has too many, you know, handlers around him. He has too many people who are negative around him. So I think that's really the thing. And I think that's why it's so important to have people who are positive minded, you know. I know we subscribe to the Christian religion, and I know that's what we subscribe to, and that's what we believe in. But even if you don't subscribe to that, I think people have to surround themselves around people who actually really love them and care about them in any walk of life. If you don't, it's going to be tough. Life is hard, and you're gonna need people there that actually are going to be there to help you through those rough times. And it's clear he hasn't had that.
Right.
You know? But more props to him. I ain't no hater. More props to him.
I think, you know, on another hand, though, I think he know exactly what he's doing. We don't never hear about Kanye doing anything or being until it's time for him to drop a project. We didn't hear about nothing in his mental health, and you know, and this is no slight to those who himself and others who are really, you know, pressing forward through mental health challenges. But it wasn't until he dropped an album that it came to the forefront. And then his Christian conversion didn't come to the forefront until before he dropped an album. And all these things, and then now this, like, it's just a lot of stuff. He knows how to create a certain buzz, even if he's really dealing with mental health at a certain
Right.
level.
Right.
Even if he was sincere, and I believe he was, about his Christian conversion. He knows how to generate a buzz around his image to get us to pay enough attention so when that album drop, straight to streams.
Right.
Right? And I think that's the theatrical genius that he knows how to take his life and turn it into theater at the right moment.
Mm-hmm.
That the product he's presenting, he can capitalize on how many people want to buy into it. I want to be.
Yeah, I'll say he's a marketing genius.
Yes.
But as an artist, he's dope when he wants to be, but he's not a genius. But in that area, but marketing, yeah.
Marketing.
Here's my next question: is Donda, in your opinion? Oh, shout out to Benel Dixon. Thank you so much for the super chat. Definitely appreciate that.
Yeah.
In your opinion, do you think Donda is a gospel album?
It's a very man. Ooh, that's a
tough question. Word?
That's a tough question, yeah, because I would say it would be a album that tries to be based upon Christianity. It's not actually Christianity. I mean, I think that's pretty much clear. I would say the album that he dropped before that was more of a gospel album. The Jesus is King. I would say that's definitely a gospel album, and I think the one that he dropped with he had that whole choir with him, and they were singing all the songs in the background. I think that's a gospel album. But outside of those two albums, no. I think this is an album that's based upon his mindset and thoughts of what Christianity is, and even the blasphemous Jay-Z verse, which was like just so disrespectful on so many levels. I was like, man, like, dude, like, it's enough that you flip your name over and try to call yourself God, and now you got this old blasphemous verse comparing yourself to Jesus and all this other stuff. Like, it's just like, come on, man, like, enough is enough. Like, I think based upon that, and just some of the features on there, they're just kind of out there with their content and just what they represent. So, yeah, it's definitely not a Christian album to me.
And we're actually going to talk about some of the lyrics later. So, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Pierre.
Yeah, I'm just trying to put it the right way. It's a playlist with songs that give gospel artists permission to push the boundaries of what we consider gospel rap. I hear his album.
Oh, so you're a Ye apologist. Okay. I see where you're coming from. You're a Ye apologist.
I love him too, but yeah, that ain't no gospel album.
I'm trying to put it away. Right?
Interesting.
It for me, the album feels like a playlist, right? And then there are songs in there that will give gospel rappers permission to be a little bit more boundary pushing with the production and the content that we present under the realm of gospel rap and Christian hip hop. But no, this would not be in the Barnes and Noble section of gospel. It will not make the Barnes and Noble section. It's Kanye in a class of his own, and because he is walking with the Lord in this at this conjuncture of his life, he's great at the autobiographical type of rap, the introspective type of rap. So we're hearing that. We're hearing where he's at in life. I just don't know if it fits the category of gospel album. Even if not this one. I can't say this is a gospel album, but it pushes the boundaries, and it has some songs in there that go hard. Yeah.
Okay. Somebody just stepped into the bodega. He came in from the back door. You want to get a bag of chips. We got my man Vocab Malone's in the building. What's going on, sir?
What's up?
What up? So of course we're talking all things Donda today. The question right now, Vocab, is, in your opinion, do you think Donda is a gospel album?
Well, I guess it depends how we define gospel, I guess. So like, did Kanye share the gospel or gospel elements on the album? It seems like to me he did. But did he also muddy up that message with a bunch of non-gospel elements, non-gospel personnel? Yeah, he did. Is it, it's not in the CCM realm, obviously. It's on, what is it, Universal or whatever. What I mean by that is, as far as the people he's partnering with, as far as that, take it outside. It's mainstream, but that doesn't mean a gospel artist can't be necessarily. So, I mean, it's funny because you listen to some Christian hip hop albums and, this is their decision. So I'm not necessarily here to hate, but he had more Jesus elements than a lot of mainstream Christian hip hop. So even though we might say, well, that's a gospel rap artist, that's a Christian hip hop artist. So to me, this ain't going to be everyone. It's something like a gospel album.
It's gospel adjacent.
It's something like a gospel album.
It's gospel-esque.
Which is saying a lot for some kind of mainstream artist. He's been in the mainstream. He's been around. This is a newer thing. But what's interesting is this is like kind of the third Jesus album, because you had Jesus King, then you had the choir one, and then you got this. But that's interesting because, I mean, he's sticking with it, at least for now. So, because I've seen artists do one-offs, right? Remember Snoop Dogg?
Yeah.
Did he make a gospel album? He had actual gospel singers all up on there. He didn't have the baby. He had Kirk Franklin or whatever, right?
Right.
But was that a gospel album? I guess technically, but then Snoop's back to being Snoop and doing Snoop stuff, even though that album went number one on the gospel charts. That Snoop gospel album, that double album, it was pretty, I thought it was pretty horrible, but so it's something, I would just say it's something like a gospel album.
Yeah.
Something like a gospel. For me, it's, it is not a gospel album. It has a lot of religious overtones.
Yeah.
And he's very much he's not hiding his love and conviction for Jesus and how much he loves Jesus and what Jesus has done for him. But to Vocab's point, though, he definitely does muddy and taint his witness. And not necessarily because he's rhyming with secular artists. Because I do believe that you could rhyme with a secular artist, but you have to meet somewhere where it's a subject matter that doesn't compromise your witness. Let's say you're talking about world hunger or defeating racism. Like that's something I believe a gospel rapper and a secular rapper could join forces and discuss, right? But that's not the case here. No. I mean, he has this dude, Fly God. What's his other rap name from Griselda Records? I forgot his name now.
Machine. What's it?
Not Conway, the other guy.
Oh yeah, Conway the Machine and
no, not Benny, the other dude. The one that's always boom, 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 always doing the ad libs. I forgot.
Oh, you're talking about Conway Benny.
Fly Guy is one of his AKAs.
Forgot his name.
But he's like, my gun didn't jam when I was shooting at the ops. Thank God. I'm like, no, that's not what you praise God for. You don't praise God that you was able to flip your bricks of cocaine. Like he does that for this whole verse.
Well, some people do, I guess.
I mean, they do, but it's like that's not
right.
That's not praise and worship. I mean, he is praising.
Was he on the same song that Conway was on?
Yeah. Now Conway, though, he actually he stayed on topic. Yeah. We got actually, it was. I was shocked.
We got
West Side Gun.
West Side Gun. Boom. Yeah. West Side. Yes, that's it.
Keep My Spirit Alive is a song you're talking about. I got the little guest list up in front of me.
Right. So yeah. So it's. Then you got, and we're gonna talk about some of the lyrics too. We got Jay Electronica with his Nation of Islam raps, and it's like it's a lot of syncretism going on. It's so when Kanye's rapping, he's he's really trying to, he's doing the I love Jesus 50,000 different ways, but then you got these dudes who don't love Jesus 50,000 ways, right? So it's like it.
But they love being on Kanye's album.
But they love
absolutely.
They're gonna let that royalty check.
So with that now being said. The show, of course, it wouldn't be a Kanye show if there wasn't any controversy. So, Kanye West controversy inviting Marilyn Manson, the baby, to Chicago Donda listening party. Kanye West returned to his hometown of Chicago for his third Donda listening party at Soldier Field on Thursday, a month since his first event took place in Atlanta's Mercedes-Benz Stadium. A centerpiece of the album listening party was a replica of West's childhood South Shore home. As the event kicked off Thursday evening, West stood on the stoop, accompanied by the baby and Marilyn Manson, swiftly resulting in social media criticism over their inclusion. This is the baby's second major event since stirring up controversy for homophobic remarks at Rolling Loud Festival in Miami last month. During the festival, the rapper asked fans to shine their cell phone flashlights if they didn't show up today with HIV, AIDS, any of them deadly sexually transmitted diseases that will make you die in 2 to 3 weeks. Manson is currently facing lawsuits from 4 women who claim that he sexually, physically, and emotionally assaulted them. The singer was dropped from his record label earlier this year, as well as 2 television roles in the wake of abuse claims from Evan Rachel Wood and other women. The singer has repeatedly denied the allegations. Kim Kardashian, who is currently divorcing West, was also present for the final song of the night. Kardashian, dressed in a couture wedding dress, appeared for the song No Child Left Behind, which ended the night. This is another article talking about the same thing. God may forgive Kanye West, but you don't have to. Right? When West teams up with the abuser Chris Brown to rap lines like, I repent for everything I'm going to do again, and last night don't count, it makes West's conception of God as a bail bondsman sound anything but holy. At his third Donda release, West brought out Marilyn Manson and the baby, both of whom feature on the track Jail Part 2. Manson was denied multiple women's accusations of rape. The baby ended up deleting his apology for saying that people with AIDS are nasty. The defiance continues in his Donda lyrics. West's alliance with such men could signal anything from full endorsement to a gesture of Christian forgiveness. He hasn't really made a case either way, and his most notorious buddies certainly haven't been seen working for absolution. So my question is, having these guys there on that stoop during his listening party, he's making a point of some sort. What do you think he's trying to say by having these 2 lightning rods of individuals right now with him at that listening party?
Maybe he wanted to find out Marilyn Manson's makeup routine.
Wah, wah, wah.
Wow.
Hey Brian, tell me.
How you use that eyeliner? How you do the smoky eye? Show me how you do the smoky eye.
So I have a little bit of it's like a personal problem or something where I kind of like people who are willing to like stick their finger in the eye of like establishment and what they're supposed to do. So even though like he's kind of doing some messed up stuff with that, it's part of my messed up personality. So this is not like the Christian position, right? Kind of likes it because to me, Kanye's like, oh, these people are in trouble. Well, I don't care. I'm putting my album right now. And just tell you guys, I'm going to do what I want. Yeah. Part of me kind of likes that just for the sake of liking it. Because I feel like a lot of rap, I'm not saying this is necessarily how it's supposed to be for the believer, but there's supposed to be like this punk rock, not literally punk rock, but like, yeah, your rebellious attitude. And I feel like a lot of that's actually absent, And I feel like Kanye, he's 44 years old, multimillionaire. He's still kind of doing it. He still has that attitude. So to me, part of me, the messed up part of me likes it. And then also, I just get a strange kick out of seeing these pictures of Marilyn Manson chilling on the balcony outside Kanye West's listening party. It's like so bizarre. So it makes me laugh because it's much more interesting than all the stupid stuff other rappers are doing. So I'm like, I don't know what's going on, but it's kind of funny to me.
Yeah, I think that we, when it comes to athletes and actors and musicians and all that stuff, we gotta see that they're only entertainers. That's all they are. They're only entertainers. They're not social activists. They're not politicians. They're not religious leaders. Now, should they take a stand on certain things? Yeah, that'd be great. I would love for that to happen. I would love for people to have a Muhammad Ali type of mentality where they are feeling they have to fight for the rights of the people. But they don't have to do that. That's not really what they're supposed to do. Your local politician, your local governor, your local religious leader, your local activist, those are the people you need to hold accountable. Kanye West making the music, or Marilyn Manson, or the baby, or little baby, or whoever. That's not what they're for. They didn't sign up for that. So we have to really let entertainers be entertainers, and we gotta let the laws of the land, be the laws of the land. And if these people are guilty they would, justice will be served. I thoroughly believe in that. Whether it be served now or it be served later, justice will be served. They will have to answer for what they've done if they haven't, tried to make amends for it. So I think that's the biggest thing. We have to just let people entertain us. Stop being so divulged in their personal life and everything else. We got to really get out this culture where we just are obsessing over celebrities and just what they do. Half of the time, I don't even really follow any celebrities on social media or any of that stuff because it's just like I don't care to. If I'm not watching something or listening to something that I can actually watch or be a part of, I really am not focused on what you're doing. If you want to marry, your dog or a cow, hey man, I mean, you're wacky if you do that. And my
Don't give
mom,
Kanye ideas. That might be his next album.
I know, right? It's like,
Bro.
you know what I mean? If this is something, if this is how far they want to take it, man, that's on them, man. Like I really don't, like being a part of anybody's personal life because I don't want nobody in my personal life like that.
Right,
So I
right.
definitely don't. I definitely let them be entertainers, be entertained, and if they do something wrong, and if I don't agree with it, I just won't follow them, or I just will stop purchasing their
Right.
items or their merchandise, and I just leave it at that.
Right. Pierre, do you think he was actually trying to be evangelistic here? Like, is he trying to share his faith in some weird way, or I mean, what do you think? It was just
No.
shock value, just
Nah,
straight shock
I
value.
think if he got them on a song called "Jail," bro, and then the line is like, "Going to jail tonight, guy gonna post my bail tonight," and then you hear what they're singing, and you hear how the baby's going about it. This isn't like "Forgive me." No, this is like, "Forgive me for what I'm about to do." They're like, he's being Kanye, he's being shock. It's a shock value. It's a slapstick. There's this theater. There's this comedy, and there's a tragedy to it. It's all of that, and that's what makes Kanye Kanye. He does this.
Right.
So we're just getting a Christianized version of his ego at work. Like it almost read like he wants to be the guy that got to say, I got Charles Manson, I got Marilyn Manson, and I got the baby on a record, and we're gonna call this record Jail, and we're gonna because all three of us could be in jail right now anyway. For us, yeah, man.
I think though there is one dirty truth though in that whole concept, and that's believers do tend to abuse the grace that they receive.
Right.
And that's one of the points he makes is like, I'm gonna repent for the sin I'm about to do again, right? Let's keep it 100. We've done that. We've done that. Right.
So back to Vocab brought it up earlier. There was like this thing where we wanted a secular artist to become a Christian because if they took all their skill and their production and their influence, oh my goodness, the whole world would come to Jesus right away. Well, we got one. And this is what the reality of that one is. There's probably many more, but the reality that we have a secular artist who has affirmed the Christian faith.
Right.
And now we're seeing the real wrestling that goes into that, like the muddy waters and the muddiness.
That's a good point.
Yeah, that goes, and this is part of it. We could just how they communicate forgiveness and the abuse of grace, and then the access they have to those that they bring in to communicate this message, like Marilyn Manson and the baby. Can't nobody else put us off of Kanye.
No, I think that you make a great point. Because I feel like if his conversion is true, he's still a baby in the faith. And it doesn't really seem like he has anyone discipling him, though.
No.
Or maybe there are people who have attempted to, and he kind of gave them the Heisman arm. I don't know. All we know is we can't have Vocab disciple him because Vocab would have co-signed all of this. So
Nah. No. I mean, it's like this. I people get into reading motives and all that. And to me, that's always troubling and problematic. And actually, it kind of goes either way. You can read motives good or read them bad. Mm-hmm. Some people, it's like, well, actually, you're being very charitable. But if we are going to be charitable, it seems like Kanye's like, man, I got Marilyn Manson on a song talking about God bailing me out of jail. Isn't that great? I mean, that's what it seems like he would be after there. Now, in my view, jail is one of the the weakest, most confusing songs, probably. I'm not saying everything else is a theological gem per se, but I feel like it has like this crass, they said Baal bondsman view of God.
Right.
It's that kind of, I don't think, to me, the whole album's not like that. It's not it doesn't match the vibe. The jail thing, it's almost like, hey, we need a song that white sorority guys will sing when they're partying at night on campus. This will work. Because I can see a bunch of sorority guys, right? Go to jail tonight. Can't you just see that? It's like, I can just totally see it. Like they're turning over cars after Ohio State wins a game or something.
Pretty much.
That's like what I'm picturing with this song, because it sounds like, and it's like, well, let's put two people who are trying to get canceled. They're trying to cancel him out. Right. Maybe because he's like, hey, they try to cancel me too. Maybe that's what he's. I mean, we don't know, because I don't think Kanye's like, I'm going to over explain it. I think he's like, I'm an artist. I'm going to do this. You make up whatever you want. If it sounds good, it sounds good. Not I think people are probably like, well, look, it's working. I mean, the pragmatic view. But as far as discipleship, for a while he was having that guy who was like that smaller rural pastor, I think in Montana, that was a graduate from Master's Seminary, which that's John MacArthur's. That's the seminary was established by John MacArthur, that is connected to Grace Community Church outside of L.A. Like one of the most theologically conservative and Calvinist seminaries there is. And so I'm not saying I don't know what's going on with that guy now, but it was fascinating because that guy wasn't a celebrity pastor. So I kind of liked that. Now it might have just been geography. He had that place out there in Montana. There's a guy, but to me, I'm Reformed, so I view that as God's sovereignty. That seemed like a good thing. And I don't know if you guys saw like that guy. I'll have to look up his name. There's some events he was at, Kanye, and the guy gave like the gospel. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Now, of course, we saw him on stage with Joe Osteen too, or whatever. But who? It's like, who can't get on that stage? It's like if you're a big enough celebrity, I think. But it's like with the baby, Kanye is the baby Christian, so I think he's trying to do something, right? But it's like you're making a mess, Kanye. You're making a mess. I don't necessarily feel like I have to read negative motives, but it makes a mess, and it may be more harm than good. Even though I said I like kind of the rebel move, ultimately, in all seriousness, bro, Marilyn Manson's like a Satanist, bro. So right. It's not even just like a rock guy. It's like a certain kind.
Yeah, he goes out of his way. Right.
Yeah. Now it is interesting. You got him singing about God, but I guess Marilyn Manson probably, if he went to jail, he might start believing God all of a sudden too. Like they used to say, there's no atheists in foxholes.
Right.
I don't know, but that song was that was the most disappointing song, I think. Oh, the brother has to leave. Well, let me shut up then. Let me make sure the brother gets. My bad. I'm sorry, Daryl.
No, you're okay. You
want to say something real quick before you're out of here, bro?
Oh yeah, definitely. Thank you so much for just having me on your platform. BK Apologist. Man, you already know I got to give you the flowers, man. Thank you for just always being there and just always looking out, man, and being the mentor, man, that you are. And I definitely appreciate it. Shout out my platform. I am the network manager for a channel called a friend of mine is the network manager for Knowledge and Relationships. It's not me actually per se. A friend of mine, MR Hall of Fame Forever 23. That's who he is. We're very close friends. He's a network manager. And it's followed by M3, First Lady Tammy, and DJ Eddie King. We stream Monday, Thursday, and Saturdays, 5:30 Pacific time, 8:30 Eastern Standard Time, 7:30 Central. Thank y'all so much for allowing me to rock out with y'all. And definitely, I will holler at y'all later. Thank you so much, BK. Later, brother.
Cool, man. Peace, no doubt. So, a somewhat well-known Christian hip-hop DJ chimed in and gave his 2 cents. DJ Wado. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Wado.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so this is what he had to say. You would see a lot more Christian rap albums like Donda if so many artists didn't feel the need to make music to get booked for youth groups or to be accepted by certain people. Kanye's a billionaire and also one of the most influential artists ever. So he doesn't have to try to get on the big Christian tours or festivals. He could just make music for the people he wants to reach. He can make it purely from the heart. To all my brothers and sisters expressing their faith in their music, Be inspired and be encouraged by this. Enjoy the art and find ways to keep reaching the people you really want to reach with your message. What do you guys think of DJ Wado's take on the whole Donda experience?
He said, I mean, that's what I was kind of communicating earlier. It's a playlist that gives permission to other Christian gospel rappers. It lets them know that you can push the boundaries and still talk about Jesus. Nah, I wouldn't say that outside of Lecrae, other Christian rappers have the pull Kanye has to actually hook up those type of features that Kanye and a lot of Christian rappers, pioneers even, have went on record and talked about opportunities to work with other secular artists, but their label said it's bad for the brand, it's not a good idea, which circles back to, are we making music as Christian hip hop artists for the youth groups and the Christian festivals, which would beget a viable career that you get to? It's a, I can make a certain type of music with my skill set and potentially live off of this.
Right.
And a lot of Christian rappers choose to do so, and I don't blame them. I don't blame any Christian rapper for saying, I'm not going to push the boundaries like that. I'm going to stick with this market. I'm going to stick with reaching this youth group. I'm going to keep presenting the message in a certain way that is digestible and acceptable and for a certain Christian industry, because I like touring, I like making music for Jesus, and I like making money doing so. I don't find anything wrong with that.
Right.
But
I mean, for me, I feel like you as an artist can contextualize the gospel in so many different ways without having to compromise or taint your witness. A great example was this rock band called Flyleaf. I don't know if you guys ever heard these guys.
I'll rock with Flyleaf.
It's a rock group. They were the darlings of MTV, right? And it was very like edgy and hard, and I think the hit song was All Around Me, and in the song you see the blood coming from the walls, but then when you started listening more intently, it's like, okay, there's something else going on here. Mm-hmm. And when they finally did like their big interview, they said, oh no, we're believers. It's like, what do you mean? It's like, yeah, I mean, listen to the lyrics.
Right.
And then when you listen to the lyrics, it's like, oh, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah. In fact, the term flyleaf, and this is ill, in most physical Bibles, there's that thin piece of paper that's almost translucent right before the Bible starts. That's called a flyleaf.
Wow.
You know what I mean? So it's like they super contextualized. Yeah. But then when the jig was up and people saw that they were believers, they stopped playing the video, though. Which I thought was very disingenuous, because you was loving them when you thought they was just regular rock and rollers.
Yeah.
But then when you finally figured out, wait a minute, everything they're saying, and then when you go back and listen to all the songs, it's all about God. Yeah. It really is.
Well,
but they did such an ill way of and it wasn't like they were hiding it either.
No.
It was just they were being very creative and contextualized. You know what I mean? So
I think POD did the same thing. I'll put it like this. I'm gonna be just frank. Rock bands can get away with it. There was always been this weird. Now, on the flip side of what I just said, there's always been this standard for Christian rappers. Before we would call Christian hip hop artists, we call gospel rappers.
Right.
There's always been this standard where we had to be explicitly gospel-centric, Christ-centric in all of our lyrics. It's just been recently, within the decade, that we've had rappers break the mold enough to where now we can get into the more introspective rap and to be accepted on Christian mainstream level, which is still underground when compared to the industry. You have an outlier like NF who has broken through, but he still will be considered even with the #1 record and song on Billboard, he will still be considered underground in the secular industry. So it is a weird box that Wado was speaking to, and it's a tricky box. When you see it, once you get there, you see it, and you do have to make a decision on how I want to shape my content. But like you said, it can go now. We can go so many ways with contextualizing the gospel without compromise.
Right. Vocab, do you agree with DJ Wado's assessment? Or
so I have a little bit different view of all these things. I think some of the criticism of the models they're talking about, I think that's a little outdated. I don't think that's exactly what's going on in CHH right now. If you look at the biggest, most prominent Christian rap artists, most of them kind of more are of the mold of, I'm not really a Christian rapper, and I got these guests on my songs, and to me, that's more what's happening. I mean, look, it's Lecrae's the biggest, but Andy Mineo was like that.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like you start to look at who's there. There's exceptions. There's the Bizzles, and there's the K. You know, there's Triple E, there's KB. Right? There's exceptions, but like when you look at what's running the show, and you say, okay, what's coming out, what's getting to play. I don't think the model is exactly the dominant model. So to me, some of it is a little bit of, I think there's some empty criticism there. This is my view, right? I don't think they're feeling such great pressure to get booked at youth groups. I mean, they're Lecrae's walking down. I know this was a few years ago. He's walking down the red carpet, and they're saying, "What do you have on?" Now that's fine. Okay, they can ask him what he's wearing, right? Who you wearing, however they say it. But I mean, like, he don't pressure to get booked at youth groups. He's doing fine. They always talk about the hate, but he's doing all right, and he's not the only one.
Right.
And so, like, who are the explicit Christian rappers in 2021 making decent cake? I don't see that as the reigning model right now. Mm-hmm. So I hear what they're saying. I'm not saying no one exists. I'm saying think about them, and you'll be like, oh, it's kind of a small, kind of little. Right. It's kind of a smaller thing. It's not quite that. And I like Widow because he said one of the reasons he stopped the show when he stopped it is he felt like a lot of the artists were less about ministry. And he the reason he got into Christian hip hop and the radio shows because he was about the ministry. Right. So I respect, but on this, there'd be some disagreement. And obviously, I would still say he knows more than me. He's an insider more than I am these days. But nonetheless, I'm like, well, wait, brother, I don't want to see more Christian rap albums like Donda. Now, I know he made some jokes, and there's a certain level of which I want to defend Kanye as a baby Christian trying to do things. And I'm glad this is a third album where he's still on some kind of path that doesn't seem like it was an immediate gimmick. Because I hear people say, oh, doing that to get to make fame using God. I'm like, bro, who used God to get big? It never really works. Like, remember when Mace, he went the God route, and he's like, actually, just kidding. I'm coming back normal because that didn't work out. Everyone forgets about KRS-One, spiritual minded.
Right.
I was naive then. I was like, oh, look at this. Praise God. I can get behind a lot of this. It ain't perfect, but he put T-Bone on there. He's doing the next album. He's back to KRS-One. Yeah. It was like, and I had a journalist friend named Slave, RIP, a brother in Houston, that interviewed him. And I said, tell me what you really think after you talk to him one-on-one. He's like, honestly, I don't want to burst your vocab. I think he's a businessman who made a wrong move. Mm-hmm. And I think the next album proved it. Everything since then, right? And so it's like, well, Kanye's still doing it. Okay, that's I want to try to see the positive, even though for me, I don't want to see more Christian rap albums. Like what I would rather see is the baby doesn't need more shine. We talk about him being in danger of cancellation. If he played his money right, he'd be set for the rest of his life. He's not really hurting. So like, let the baby fend for himself. In all seriousness, right. You know who I'd rather see put on? Go put on some Christian rappers, Kanye. I don't think people are buying these albums just for these guest appearances. So why don't you call the shots? You're the one with the power. You're a gatekeeper in a lot of ways. Why don't you get on some legit Christian rappers and just fill the album with everyone from Jackie Hill Perry to Andy Mineo, whether they're hard gospel or like? Why don't you do that instead? That's what I'd rather see. I don't want to see what's getting more secular artists on. They get enough airtime. They get enough mic time. So I'm like, I don't want sort of industry welfare for the ones who have already made it, who on all their other songs talk about super crazy stuff. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, I feel like I've seen enough gospel albums where they're like, look, I got this secular rapper on. I'm bona fide. People look at it, Lecrae, like he was the first one. I'm not saying you guys. I'm saying a lot of people kind of understand that, this has been going on for a hot minute. T-Bone, in his career, and I like T-Bone. Like, I respect what he did when you look at it. He got a bunch of he got Mac 10, he got Chino XL, who's probably one of my favorite secular artists of all time, and that means something.
No. She knows dope.
Yeah, it means something's wrong with me because the dude's got some dark energy. But nonetheless, like Grits did stuff with Count Bass D. This is like a long list actually, and even goes to the underground. LPG and Tunnel Rats were doing stuff with Freestyle Fellowship, the LA Underground guys. It's just a bigger thing. People are like aware of it more. But I'm like, I put on the other Christian rappers. That's why even when Lecrae made some moves I didn't really feel as much with the church clothes and stuff, I really liked how he put on a lot of rappers and like some of those posse songs he made and stuff where everybody was spitting one after the other. I'm like, yo, this is, and to me, like I forgive a lot of sins because it was so dope that I don't literally mean sins. I mean, kind of like cinnamon sins, you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, okay. Because to me, at the end of the day, yes, I love hip hop, but really, what I think it presents a much better solution potentially for the community's problems are serious Christian hip hop artists. And I love when they get shine, and I love that. So I hear what everyone's saying, or at least what Wado's saying, but I'm like, brother, I don't want to see a lot of Christian albums like Donda, number one. I feel like I've seen enough that are kind of like that. And I don't know if that's quite the model, because when I look at the biggest people, who's in charge, right? You know what I'm saying? Who's like in charge. Now, I like what he said here in the end. You know, I like the last part of the tweet probably the best. I just have some disagreements about it. So that's more me being serious. People may have come on in the beginning and saw what's this guy talking about. That's a little bit more serious element of what I really think about that, because I love Christian hip hop, and the baby, he's fine. He'll be all right. You know what I'm saying? Right. Put on somebody else, bro. So that's my
cool. So let's actually talk a little bit about these bars here. This is Jay-Z's verse. God in my cell, that's my cellie. Made in the image of God, that's a selfie.
Boo.
Pray 5 times a day, so many felonies. Who gonna post my bail? Lord, help me. Hold up, Donna, I'm with you, baby. When I touch back road, told him stop all that red cat. We going home. Not me of all these sins casting stones. This might be the return of the throne. Hova and Jesus, like Moses and Jesus. You're not in control of my thesis. You already know what I think about think pieces. Before you ask, he already told you who he think he is. Don't try to gel my thoughts and think presents. I couldn't be controlled with programs and presets. Reset on my cell, in my cell tonight. Don't have to see you to touch you. This is what Braille looked like. It's on site. If they take me to jail, call my girl, tell her to send my mail. We know what hell looked like. Still, it's a hell of a life. Yikes. So, well, he doesn't curse, so that's a good thing. So what do you think? Like, does this work?
No.
Why it doesn't work?
Well, again, I mean, I want to make sure everyone else speaks, but okay, Jay walks around with the 5% jewelry, right?
Right.
You know, he's like he's rocking the 5% with the sun and okay, and there's a whole symbolism to all that stuff, and so it's like when you talk about made in the image of God, okay, Mago Dei, that's a selfie. Well, if he means it like the way they mean it, it's like he's saying something entirely different there. Right. Pray 5 times a day. I mean, that's cool. He said that. That's more traditional Islam. Does anyone really think, and I'm not trying to be, does anyone really think Jay prays 5 times a day? He stops with the call to prayer and gets on a prayer rug and bows the Mecca. He's just saying it. I mean, maybe he's like, it's like whatever. And then Lord, who is the Lord here? I mean, it's weird because he's mixing. It's like when you know his theology that he talks about, and then you see that, it's like, well, hold up, what? Return to the throne? Oh, Jesus come back. Oh no, he's saying me and Ye together.
Right.
That's a return to the throne. Come on, man. So like, it's Jay talking his normal nonsense, basically, in my view, but without the curse words. So congratulations, that's cool. I'm glad Kanye. Hey Jay, can you drop a rhyme without curse? Sure, I got you. Okay, but look at and then the next line. Don't need to see you to touch you. Is he saying like he's going to make moves from jail and hurt somebody? That's what it sounds like to me. He's saying I'm putting green lights on people even though I'm in jail. What did he mean by that? Right, bro. Like, come on, man. So this is just all just, I mean, at least Marilyn Manson just saying backup. He didn't say nothing about I worship the devil. He just got him to say some backup stuff, right? Jay's just like spitting some 5% nonsense. Right. So I don't got time for that. That's
Pierre, what do you
is-
think? What do you think, Pierre?
Yeah, this is Jay being typical Jay. So I think Post Malone,
Oh man,
my man, Post,
that's all right. Samurai warrior for Buddha.
Got the rap battle right here. Let's go. Put a beat on. Put a beat.
oh, that's all right for Buddha. Oh, but I will say this. Jay could I'll say it graciously, and this doesn't apply to every Christian rapper who is mainstream. But they continue to let us know that there's a bar to be set when it comes to lyricism and how we can communicate God in our lyrics. And I think what Jay's verse does is let us know that you can like really communicate your belief system in a way that is still attractive to the listener and not corny. And there are some Christian rappers in the mainstream that get that and they are doing that well. Like KB can flat out rap.
Yep.
Jackie Hill Perry can flat out rap. Like Propaganda can flat out rap. But then there's others where like, bruh, we can do better than this. And even though Jay's theology is off when his God talk, because it's not about our God, it's about him being God in that belief system.
Right.
But in terms of just being a genius when it comes to how to rap in a way that communicates in an attractive sense, there's something to be learned there. His theology is just off, so you can't rock with it once you break it down systematically. What he's actually saying, you stop rocking with it. But the reason why I get you at first because it sounds attractive, his cadence is attractive, and he creates a certain imagery that you want to listen to because you can see the picture. So, yeah,
Well,
that's the take on it.
Speaking of off theology, let's look at Jay Electronica's verse.
Oh boy.
Like, in the name of the true and living God. Huh?
I couldn't make it through his verse, bro. That's what
He said, in the name of the true living God, the beneficent and merciful. Now, those of us who are engaged in apologetics know what that statement means, right? A lot of times when the Muslims, especially Nation of Islam, when they're about to speak, that's their initial statement they say. So off rip, Islam bars, right?
Which is strange because the ad lib says hallelujah, which is praise to Yahweh.
Right.
So mad syncretism from jump.
Exactly. Thank you for bringing me up the rough side of the mountain, like at Kugel. I guess I don't know who that is. Must be some. Is that an Arabic term? Vocab?
I don't know what that is. That I wonder if it's it'd be cool if it was like a weird Lord of the Rings reference.
Yeah, it could be from him. Could be. Every knee bowed and every tongue confessed and paid homage to the monk who visited Rothschilds like Theolonus did Panotia. Okay, so now we got Illuminati bars. We started with NOI bars. Now we got Illuminati bars.
Sorry. He's an Ottoman Turkish ruler, it appears. Which, really? if what I'm seeing is right, that's what it looks like. Yeah, it looks like that. So he, yep.
Ottoman bars,
Turkish warrior. So
NOI
it's a Muslim.
Bars, NOI bars, Illuminati bars. It's J. Elect Antandra Nasir. I hope he's not thinking Council Nasir.
Yep.
Is that what he's saying? That's terrible.
Elect Chandra. No, I think he's trying to say J Electronica, but putting Entendre in there.
Right, I get that part.
Like that'd be the Electronica. That'd be the rest of his name.
Right.
I think that's what I think he's saying. Like, hey, I got bars. That's even in my name.
Well, he does that every verse, though. He always does a flip of his name in every verse, which is very tiring. But anyway, coming through your monitor, back from the great beyond, like the Son of Man or the Son of Donda. Yeah, that's an equivocation. That's not happening. As the Son of Donda is not coming back from the great beyond, like the Son of Man. Like that's not. Never roll the GSXR or the R6 or the Honda.
That's a stupid line. I'm sorry. He's like randomly telling me what kind of cars he drives.
Bro, that's pregnant with theology, though. That bar is so
yeah.
But I flew my Ducati through North America like Wakanda. Which Wakanda's a nation, not a vehicle, so I don't know how anyway. Earthquakes would strike this nation for what Bush did to Rwanda, what the Clintons did to Haiti, Downing Street did to Ghana. In Tech Chilean, they call me Terremoto El Negro Loco. I share the tectonic plates of the game if I lay one vocal. Sure. The God is interstellar. The God, meaning him, right? The God is interstellar while you fellas remain local. My bars is like the pyramid temples of Pakal Voltan. What does that got to do with Jesus? Then the ad-lib is Jesus. Where? How? As sure as the DOJ confirmed Ezekiel's will. Okay, now we're back to NOI bars.
Oh yeah, he's talking about mothership, bro.
Yeah, now we're back to NI, right? I
Oh
can change
goodness.
the world like Yaku with 2 pieces of steel. Now he's talking about the big head scientist bars now.
Yeah.
Change the Oh, this is funny, bro. That's a funny thing. Guys, I'm gonna change the world. Like who? Like Yakub. You know, the guy that invented white people. What a way to change the world.
Right. My sword and my microphone, I swore to the Christ throne. Sure you did. But when you great, they want to say you took an L, Jose Castillo. I'm in the fight here. Fight here for what seemed like light years. My rugged cross and thorny crown squeeze out Christ tears. So now he's on the cross. 30 pieces of silver clout, my Pierre Price tier. It's a war outside. It's a war outside. It's like the last days of Sodom and Gomorrah outside. Thoughts?
Every rapper wants to make themselves Jesus. You know, Nas. Everyone's Jesus. You know.
Yeah.
Tupac is Jesus. Machiavelli. Everyone's Jesus, right?
Everybody. Yeah. It just, and like you said, we said before, their NOI, 5%er, and Muslim fascination is, for me, is amazing. Like they're really fascinated by, but then Christianity, the actual religion that introduced the world to Jesus, or vice versa, however you put it, Jesus Christ gives us our worldview, and we're called Christians because of it. They won't embrace, they shun, they want nothing to do with. But every other religion that takes Jesus and turns Jesus into an image and a version that they can control and manipulate, that's who these people assent to and then claim, I want to be like Jesus. It doesn't make sense to me at all whatsoever. But yeah, man. And why Kanye allowed, as a critic, Kanye has to know this, and then for those verses to be allowed, it then makes me question what is the overall purpose, right? So you're communicating your faith in the Lord throughout the whole entire album, and then you have these guys that you know don't follow Christ as you do, and then they're communicating their religious views that are really anti our Christ. That's when the confusion and the muddy waters start to be like, I can't. I was rocking, no, I can't. I was rocking, no, I can't. So, yeah.
It seems like Kanye's trying to get these gentlemen to go on a Jesus journey with them. But I think Kanye may be on a real Jesus journey. It seems like, I mean, I want to hope for the best that Kanye's born again and is going on some kind of Jesus journey. But you can't go on a Jesus journey if you're not a disciple of Jesus.
Right.
So it's like you can't pull them along. And then they end up saying stuff like this. And she's like, okay. I mean, and Jay Electronica, God bless his soul, doesn't he say the same kind of stuff every single verse?
It's the same verse the last 10 years, bro.
It's like, bro,
it really is.
Let's do some alteration.
I mean, at first I thought he was dope, but then after a while, I'm like, you're a one-trick pony, bro.
Yeah, as the old timers say, a one-string banjo.
Yeah.
For real. It's like
But crazy. And then classic hip hop though has been laced with this type of spiritual lyricism, where the lyricism was never pro-Christian. It was always pro 5%, pro NOI, pro all these versions of the Christ or God that is really anti-biblical. And that's from golden era hip hop forward. Like that's what has laced whenever hip hop went into their spiritual lyricism, their spiritual lyrical miracle. That's what we get. So we're getting classic golden era hip hop bars, just updated version on Donda. So it don't surprise me that they went this route with their bars. It's in the vein of what hip hop has always done with Jesus. It's turn them into a version that they can manipulate, and so they can call themselves the Christ at the end.
It's like, you ever seen like when you heard about like when they did the Passion, and like I guess Mel Gibson would have like different theologians and, this guy and that guy, he would like consult. And I guess they do this for The Chosen. There's a funny scene actually in a movie called Hail Caesar that it's old golden age Hollywood, and they're putting out a Jesus picture or whatever. And there's a funny scene where the Hollywood exec brings in a rabbi, Roman Catholic, a Protestant, and they're all like talking about, the issues and stuff. And it's a pretty funny conversation. You can find the clip on YouTube. But I feel like if Kanye did something like that, like he's like, okay, I'm going to have a review panel that's a listening party just for these theologians or whatever. And hopefully he's got the right people, like Joel Osteen, not invited to the cookout, right? Okay, so here we go. And I feel like it'd be like, Kanye, I like what you're saying about Jesus is Lord and Father, Son, and Spirit, and you're his exclusively. But your boy, though. And then it's not just one, it's like, but your boy, your other boy, this guy, though. And it'd be like, okay, there's no cursing. That's like a low bar. But it's like, yo, man, honestly, I'd almost have some of these guys like curse, but spit some truth. Like where they're like young Christians who are like talking crazy, but it's like actually like some Christian bars, but they drop some cursing in there because they're whatever. I actually probably would prefer that than the clean version of heresy. You know what I'm saying?
The radio edit of heresy.
Yeah, because people cut stuff out. If you're off tune or off pitch or whatever, let's cut that out. They say, I feel like Kanye needs to be like, let me cut this out if it's theologically whack. That's what I hope he develops into. I pray, and if he doesn't mean he's not a Christian. It's there's some discernment and wisdom issues there. But I would like to see why am I going to have this dude on no more. But hopefully we'll see that almost like the sanctification of his albums or something.
Right. Last bars we'll look at here, and we're going to look at somebody I just mentioned early in the program. West Side Gun. Praising God. But let's see what he's praising God for. Yo, flushed the work just in time that they raided. Thank God. Thank God. Screaming through the GT roof like we done made it. Thank God. Thank God. 100-run drum didn't jam when my shooter tried to spray it. Thank God. Thank God. Couple thousand grams got 2,000 grams when we waited. Thank God. Thank God. I was facing 15 and I beat it. Just spent about 20 up in Neiman's. Did 200 in the demon. Skirt. I'm the illest and I mean it. My homie dropping bodies for no reason. Boom, 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 boom. Now his kids see him on the weekends. Got the baking soda for the remix. Millionaires on it. I can see it. Yeah, that is deep and pregnant with theology right there. I mean dude. he let this one go? Like, yeah, you didn't proofread this at all? Like, I thank God that I was able to get rid of my work, which is drugs, ladies and gentlemen. Before the cops came and got me, I was able to get rid of the evidence. Thank God for that. That's what he's doing.
Yeah.
100-run drum didn't. That's a gun, guy. That's a rifle. That's the Draco. It didn't jam when my shooter sprayed it. Thank God.
What he's saying. Let me translate, everyone. If you're watching this, so we were doing a drive-by, and the gentleman next to me who had the firearm, when he went to shoot our enemies, thankfully the gun didn't jam, and he was able to unload his clip on our enemies. Thank the good Lord for that. I mean, I guess it doesn't have to be a drive-by. He doesn't say that, but you get the idea. Like,
he was able to properly discharge his weapon with no ill effect. Thank
God. Thank you, Jesus. Yeah. I mean, it's like, I want to root for West Side Gun and Conway because the Italian side of my family's from Buffalo. So I want to be like, okay, get some Buffalo guys up there, But I can't. I mean, come on, I can't do it with this kind of nonsense. I can't.
Now, let me actually say, speaking of, but watch Conway's verse, though. Right? It's
a little better. I thought it was a little better.
He says, yeah, don't hate me because my heart is full of love. No weapon formed against me because I'm covered in the blood. Laying in the hospital when I got shot, fam. Mama prayed for me, said she left it in God's hands. So I'm going to leave it in God's hands. Everything I'm doing now is God's plan. Doctor said I wouldn't walk no more. Now I stand. Then I ran. Here I am, machine. That's great. That was good.
There might be some hope for Conway.
When I heard the verse, I'm like, okay. Like that was, but you see, but that's what I mean. If you're going to do a record with a secular person, meet you halfway, Conway did that in that verse, right? He talked about, he has some belief in God. He talked about some adversity that he overcame. He talked about how his mom prayed for him to overcome the adversity. And through his mother's prayer, not only did he survive, he thrived. And he thanked God for that. I'm good with that.
Well, West Side Gun, thank God as well.
But he thank God for the wrong things. So when I heard Conway, I'm like, yo, that's what I'm talking about. If you're gonna do a record with a secular artist, because Conway didn't mess up his brand by doing that either. So he's still him, and then Kanye could still be Ye, and you guys can meet in the middle, and we'll be okay. But West Side Gun, I'm like, I don't know.
I mean, we'll be better, But yeah, Jada Johnson said something. Kanye reviewed the album like no cursing and no talking about sex. Perfect. I think that's probably true. I think it's like this. It's like hip hop is so bad. There's like this kind of low standard, right? It's like, well, okay, there's not that, so we're okay. But I think there should be a higher standard. Regardless of what we say about Lecrae or agree or disagree, somebody said something interesting that I thought was interesting. They said part of this makes me respect the way Lecrae handled his guest appearances better, right? Because Kanye had to edit out some of the guys, but Lecrae didn't. They appeared to be able to do rhymes without cursing or whatever. But again, that's kind of like the low standard. I mean, E40 was still on that one Lecrae song talking about his pockets are fat and all this kind of stuff and whatever. I mean, to me, I'm not a huge fan of like these putting secular artists on. I have a little bit of a double standard though. Let me share it about this. My view, and I think it's okay at double standard. That's why I say it that way. My view is that Christians should try to go everywhere and anywhere for the Lord. So secular artist says, come over here, come at this spot, rap here, be on this album. I'm like, okay, because that's as long as you're not trying to squash what I say, I'm going. I feel like it's different for us to put them on because this is like our thing, right? It's like it's roughly analogous. Now, some people aren't gonna like roughly analogous to like preaching my pulpit versus come over here and speak in this bar I own or whatever. Right. I'm not saying perfect. I'm just saying to me I see a little bit of that. Now it's not a hard and fast rule. I get it, whatever. But it's like now God has the power, but in the worldly understanding, usually the secular artists are the one with the power. So them like quote putting us on, it's like I see that as God's favor as long as we're not selling out, right? To do it, and then we have another place we can go spit this truth. Okay, praise God, right? It's different. We're constantly putting them on. It's like there's only so much oxygen, and we're having them breathe it instead of a fellow Christian hip hop artist that we could work with and do something. Right. So, but that's my view of it. But I'm glad that some of the guys seem to get Kanye's vision, and I hope there's some good fruit long term out of that. Now, I think there could be good fruit out of Kanye's album because, as the saying goes, God can draw a straight line with a crooked stick. And I still read Kanye's trying to do some of the, at least from me, trying to do some of the right thing. Because if you listen to what he says, like that one song, Jesus is the Lord. Now there's two versions, but he's rapping about like pain and suffering in life. And then it's like, tell me if you need to know somebody, Jesus. And it seems like he's saying Jesus is in control, regardless of all this bad stuff that happens. That's like a decidedly Christian message. That's the way I took it anyway, as far as the one part where Kanye had it. And it's kind of evangelistic. Like, tell me if you need to know anybody who needs to know Jesus or whatever the lyrics are. I'm like, okay. And he's sampling pastors. He's putting pastors in there. Like, I don't know. I had to go back and listen. I swear somebody was speaking in tongues on there. It was hard to tell what the lady was saying. Right. And so if you're Pentecostal, you should be a little bit happy, Right, so if it was tongues, because I couldn't tell, we need to get some
The interpreter.
Some Pentecostal interpreter to come out and like, I'll tell you what he said. Tell us what they were saying. But I'm like, okay, he's sampling some, it's a church service. He's not sampling a Farrakhan. Okay. And now he's putting on someone talking about Farrakhan though. Right. That's the But I would love to see this album be shorter, take out a bunch of the mixed message guys. I guess you could keep the guys who at least had the vision of the album properly, like Conway, perhaps. Take out all the mixed message guys. Eliminate some of these interludes where it's just Kanye kind of randomly singing or something like that. Take out some of that. Almost cut this album about in half, and keep a lot of the Kanye parts. I think you could have a much stronger sonically and theologically, an album that's much stronger theologically and sonically. That's my view. But what do I know?
No, I think you make some great points. But because we're in the streaming era, right? They've done the metrics and they need more records now on that project as opposed to less because it helps them with the streaming ratios. So that's why you're now seeing the 27 cut album now as opposed to the 10 song album from back in the day. So there's a reason for all that. So but yeah, this was good. So Vocab, before we out of here, what can we expect from you in the immediate future, sir? From you?
Well, because YouTube is absolutely in love with me, and I say that tongue-in-cheek, sarcastically. I've been going live on Facebook Live, building the old Facebook platform, and so tomorrow I'm going to be live on Facebook. I forget the time. Look it up if someone has the link somewhere. I don't know. And I'll be talking with a couple brothers. Well, one's an ex-Hebrew Israelite, but he's an atheist. So when I say brother, I don't mean brother in the Lord. In regards to, Sam Miguel. We love Sam. We hung out with him in Uptown, remember? Mm-hmm. In Manhattan. He didn't go to Harlem with us. But in Manhattan, we was all around Times Square and Union Square. So he's aware of the Orlando Hebrew Israelite scene really well. Mm. And there's this new camp that's become super popular on the internet fast. And they're like very Sakari-like. They're called the Watchmen for Israel. Mm. And bro, they be hitting people with sticks. Like they be have this staffs and they be hitting people with them. They went up against David Lynn and ended up getting arrested in the process. And it was like a bizarre scene. So we're going to play some of this footage and be like, and so I've titled the show, The Cult That Hits People with Sticks. Because that's what they are, bro. Yeah. So we're gonna stick it to them. There you go. So we're gonna review some footage and be like, here's what's popular in One Westism. Because these dudes came out of nowhere a year and a half ago and their internet channel's blowing up. People like this nonsense. Look at this.
They haven't hit the right person yet, though. That's the problem. Let them hit one of them Zoe Pound dudes from Dade County in Florida, see what happens.
Yeah, but even at that, there might have to be a couple guys with them because, they line up both sides and there's like, a dozen of them. I don't know, but, it is what it is. It's not a good thing, but out there hitting people with sticks. And it's funny.
Yeah.
It's just funny. They use part of the excuses. Hey, man, 6 feet COVID. But go ahead, bro.
So Nate said, maybe you should would you collab with Kanye if somehow your worlds meet and it's like, hey,
yeah, of course. I don't know why would Kanye want me to. No one wants me to rap anywhere, right? But if sure, of course. He clearly is not telling people what they have to say. so I'm going to end my verse with, subscribe to my YouTube channel.
There you go. Why not?
So yes, and hopefully he assists your brother in being able to make a handsome offering at church that next Sunday because there's something nice happening. Hopefully, but even if not, yes. Nate says I scheduled it for Sunday. Well, I'll fix that, Nate. It's supposed to be for Saturday. I'll fix it after we get off here. But yeah. But that would be the thing though. He's not inviting the Christian hip hop artists on, Right. He's inviting the big guys, but also he's inviting these new random guys. So I see people be like, "Oh, Kanye with the." It's a little. There's something there calculated though, because is Kanye friends with Lil Yachty? Lil Yachty's just like a hot artist, and he has him on. So it's like, you know, that's not something you go back with. He's like, well, Lil Yachty's popular. These other guys, Little Durk, I don't even know all the like. It's not just his people like Jay from the past. It's also these new guys.
Right.
So it's like, okay, you're. I know why people do that to get the younger artists on. I get that, but I think it's kind of whack. You know what I'm saying? For Kanye to be like, okay, yeah, here put a Little Yachty on, I don't know what he meant by that line where he talked about choking somebody. I don't know. Tell me go to hell like I ain't been yet. Remember he said that?
Yeah.
Tell me go to hell like I ain't been yet.
Yeah, you haven't been nowhere near. Trust. But
sorry, I went off. But yeah, Facebook tomorrow. I called his people with sticks.
Sounds good. So cool, man. So Vocab, thank you so much for coming by and chopping it up with us in the bodega. I want to thank the people in the chat. You know, you guys are definitely good people, and thank you for just hanging out with us as we, you know, dissect this particular this album, Donda. And so yeah. So with that being said, it's Vocab and BK Apologist signing off right now. Peace.